Hi, welcome to Soul Searching Tarot. My name is Leonore, and today I will be talking about the zodiac sign Libra. Finally, sorry Libras for keeping you waiting so long. I appreciate all my subscribers and my viewers, and I really appreciate even my new viewers and new subscribers. I appreciate all of you. Just so you know, I do integrate astrology and tarot card. That is my thing. That is my platform. I have this beautiful portrait here, by the way, in case you're asking. I'm not showing my face today. Usually I do, Libras. Sometimes I just don't fucking feel like it. But family, that represents Libra. That's your house. The seventh house is all about family. I know that you don't see family here. It's just a beautiful city. Sorry about the glare, but where the hell does that glare come from? Oh, it comes from the phone. Interesting. Ooh. But yes, it's Curacao, however you pronounce it. My brother just went to this beautiful island recently. However, the portrait is mine. I mean, this beautiful little thing here. I love it. It says here, life's most precious gifts are the ones you love. So, Libra. And so I want to keep it here, if you don't mind, Libra, because it does represent you, it does represent your sign. Libra represents relationships. And what better way to start a relationship but with family, friends. Okay? Okay, let's get started. So, Libra, you are an air sign. You also have Gemini, they're air signs, and Aquarius, they're an air sign. So you're very logical people. You could use it in a good way or a bad way. Your planet is Venus, and you share that planet with Taurus, by the way. You are considered to be a cardinal sign. You are the seventh house. And I'm going to be talking about the Justice card because Libra, I do read tarot. I'm going to do that in part 2. This is just part 1, and part 1 is just about some insight and information in case I didn't say that before. And then part 2 is going to be your reading, okay? So we'll get to your reading in part 2. But Libra, it seeks harmony. It's all about justice, and so I am going to be talking about Mayette. Mayette is in my Chrysalis Tarot. She represents the Libra card. Justice, if you could see that. Justice. And I'm also going to be talking about another Libra card in another deck that I use to read cards. Is the Stag. They're both number 8. I don't know if you've noticed that. They do come in order. The Stag is in from my Wildwood Tarot. Justice. Okay. I will get into the meaning of those two cards, by the way, Libra. But first I want to start with your ruler and the representation of what your zodiac is all about. Your polar opposite, by the way, is Aries. If you don't know what that means, just look at my birth chart. I think part 1 or 2 will describe what polar opposites of each sign is. But Libra, you start the full equinox, and you are a pivotal moment, a pivotal time in the zodiac wheel where you are basically starting the midlife before we go into Capricorn, which is the winter solstice, you start, so there's Libra, there's Scorpio, and then there's Sagittarius. That's a midlife of the zodiac wheel. Midlife meaning you already have been established in your career, you're established in your relationship with marriage, you've learned your lessons, and you're literally halfway there to the divine. Okay, you start that, you're halfway through the wheel. The fact that your polar opposite is Aries. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and you're basically, halfway there. You're the 7th house. Okay, there's 12 houses. All right. Now, because you're a cardinal sign, Libra, you guys are considered to be the survivors, the movers and shakers, always rebuilding. Your house represents the house of relationship. It is the reason why I have this family portrait out here. It is the point of the zodiac wheel that, like I said, deals with midlife, but also interpersonal relationships. Your house rules contracts, marriage, or platonic relationships. It also rules enemies. It represents when and what kind of person you will marry. It also rules the honeymoon phase. And lastly, your house represents sacrificing or giving up something to move on to someone else. Thank you, Libra. Listen, you are a big factor in the zodiac wheel. No joke. You are. You really are. Now, I always talk about the shadow side with every sign. Shadow side means there's a dark side to every sign. There is not just a polar opposite, but you may get the polar opposite shadow side of Aries. That happens. You will probably get the shadow side of Taurus, because you share, and not just the shadow side, but you also get the good aspects and the bad aspects for both of those signs, Taurus and Aries. Taurus, because you guys share a planet. I do have by the way, I do have a video on Venus. I'm going to try to remember to leave the link in the description box. And also Libra, I'm sorry, I forgot to say this in the beginning, but because you are my last sign, I have been doing readings for free since I started this platform on YouTube. And after you, I will start charging. I'll probably wait sometime before, I'm gonna say 11/11. I don't know why that number stands out to me. It is the portal. 11/11. So sometime before 11/11, which means November 11th, 2019, folks, I will start charging for reading. Okay? So take advantage. My email is in the description box. But like I was saying, I am also going to leave the link to the Venus video, because I did a nice Venus video a couple of months ago. All right, so the shadow side, you know what, folks, I'll tell you the truth. I'm not going to go into, I usually don't go into too much of the shadow side, as far as, I mean, I could really get into the shadow side of you, Libra, no joke. But one movie that I can say will describe your shadow side is Mean Girls. I know, I'm sorry. If you ever watch Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan and Rachel McAdams, that movie represents the shadow side of Libra. Yeah, the social conditioning, whether it has to do with an individual or your peers. Yeah, That would be the shadow side. Funny, but not, but not. All right. So Venus, your planet, has been in its home planet, Libra. Venus is your sign. So the fact that it's in the house of Libra, you know, Venus represents Libra. You know, it's great. A lot of the planets actually now are in their home signs, and your planet has been in its home sign since September, but unfortunately it's going to go into Scorpio. Sorry. It will go into Scorpio. Now, what does that mean for you and for the collective? Because it's not going to just affect you, Libra. It's going to affect the collective. It is a constellation, and this constellation is going to bring Venus into the sign of Scorpio. But that will, for us little earthlings, it means that we'll probably encounter some type of transformative energy, because Pluto rules Scorpio, and Pluto is all about transformation, death and rebirth. You know, that's basically transforming. But this energy will help us seek the truth. And seeking the truth, you know, by the way, Mercury is also going to be in Scorpio in the next month or so. I mean, Mercury is a fast moving planet, faster than Earth, and so the fact that Venus is going to be in Scorpio and Mercury is going to be in Scorpio, this will affect the collective. But to move on, you know, seeking the truth in our relationships, that's basically Venus in Scorpio. Whether they're enemies, again, platonic relationships, family, love, marriage. You know, Libra is all about harmony and justice, and it will come with an intense equilibrium, because Scorpio is all about intensity, you know, as well as you know, as far as like the shadow side, if I have to say, there's a shadow side with Venus being in Scorpio. Well, the polar opposite of Scorpio is Taurus, and Taurus is all about possession. Scorpio is, you know, also represents the shadow side of Scorpio. Does represent also jealousy, maybe some form of obsession. But you know, if I have to say, if there's going to be a shadow side with Venus being in Scorpio for the collective, not just for you, Libra, but for us little earthlings, I would have to say there is going to be some type of possessive energy in relationships. It will heighten or increase in power or control. But on a light note, and I'm saying this because I have a lot of placement in Scorpio, you will encounter some sexual pleasure. And listen, this might be good or bad. I mean, and I'm saying it may be good and bad because you know, if you are in a marriage or in a serious relationship or any type of, you know, relationship that means that's significant, basically, you know, the intensity of that sexual pleasure and dedication, it's great, will be great, right? You know, the fact that Mercury is in Scorpio, you know, if you're having some problems, you know, it's all about the truth and how we can make this relationship work. If you're having some, you know, rifts, but if you're single, this may not be so good. You know, depending which lens you're looking at it. If you're single, it may people may end up being promiscuous. That's not a good thing, guys. Saturn is direct, and we don't want bad energy, because usually when people are promiscuous, they end up sleeping with people that are already in relationships or married, you know, and we don't want to bring that energy in our like in our life. We don't want to bring that bad energy in our energy, for those who are promiscuous. And you know, if you do this as a business, and you know, I'm thinking in my head, like, what if they do it as a business and they collect money off of it? I don't know how that works. I mean, Scorpio does rule income. But if you're doing it for free, geez, come on. And you're seeing someone that's already married, and I don't know. I'm being told right now, even as if you do it as a business and you're collecting income and sleeping with men that are married, I would suggest you stop, at least until Saturn stops being direct. Saturn is a planet of karma, and in the planet of time. And listen, you know, depending on your birth chart, if you sleep with people, you know, that may have to do a lot with your past life. Yeah, your birth chart will tell you that, you know, you probably was a prostitute in your past life, or maybe you didn't get enough sex or no sex at all, and maybe you came back in this lifetime being promiscuous, or you know, some type of escort. But anyway, that's just my whole birth chart spiel. Like I do have videos on birth charts, Libra, in case you wanted to know anything else about what I just said, if I just lost you just now. But however, astrology, like I said, I do incorporate astrology, and I do incorporate tarot card reading, and so when I'm telling you this, it's because that's what's going on in our constellation, in our universe, and it does really affect us as a collective. So going back to tarot card, I had mentioned 2 cards that represent the Justice card. Let's start with the Stag, since it's already in front of us, in front of you. Now, this is from the Wildwood Tarot. Now, the Wildwood Tarot is seen as the oldest known images of the interaction between humanity and nature. You'll get to see like animals or some type of ritual, or this particular one happens to be half man, half half man, half animal, or half human, half animal. But the Wildwood Tarot is basically what it means. It's the forest, right? It's sacred grounds. Like I said, it's the oldest known images of interaction between humanity and nature. And so the reflection of this type of the forest, you know, I mean, what I mean by the reflection, I mean, it also has to do with sanctuary, right? I mean, I live across the woods, folks, and there's something very spiritual that I always found about the woods. Has also, I've also found that with water. There is something very spiritual about water cleansing. Oh God, I love to cleanse myself in water. And so it's just as sacred for me, just my opinion. And this is one of the reasons why the Wildwood Tarot called upon me as a tarot card reader. I just bought it very recently. It's one of my newest cards, deck of cards. And so I'm learning a lot about it. I still have to learn so much about it, but you know, probably halfway there. But there's always something that I learn about all my cards. You know, there's always something new that I learn all about my cards, and I pick up energy easy. So if you're willing to stick around for part 2, and you want to know something that will confirm any type of situations or issues in your life, or someone close to you, stick around for part 2. You know, it is for entertainment purposes. It may resonate, it may not. If it does resonate, give me a shout. Email me. I'm doing them for free, the readings. But it does represent some shadowy aspects as well as good aspects of the forest. All right, this is the Justice card. Now, in my Chrysalis Tarot, I have Mayat. Mayat, oh God, I love her. Again, she represents a Justice card. Justice card represents Libra. Mayat, it's from the ancient Egypt days. And she is the Egyptian goddess of justice, truth, and order. Now, she holds a creation of equilibrium to prevent a return to primeval chaos. She lost her husband, actually, through primeval chaos. And she vowed to seek justice ever since. Primeval is basically the early ages of history in the world, you know. That's why she's the Egyptian goddess in this particular deck of cards. Now, Mayat represents the promise of motherly protection. So when she comes out, you feel an energy of her protecting the righteous. Now, just so you know, people that don't know anything about tarot card reading, if you see a woman in the picture, or half man, half animal, or whatever the case may be, it's just energy. As a light worker like myself, I pick up energy, I read it depending on the cards that come before or after. I could tell you what it represents. But Mayat, her energy when she comes out in a reading assures us that there is some type of thoughtfulness and balance that will prevail. Justice. Also reminds me of the Judgment card, to tell you the truth. The Judgment represents Pluto. I just did a video on Pluto in Libra. It has nothing to do with anything that's going on today, but because like I said, Venus is going to be in Scorpio, but I mean, Pluto does represent Scorpio. Interesting. All right, but just just talking to myself, but at the same time, I'm not. I just did a video on Pluto in Libra, and I'm just wondering how that affects. I mean, I did tell you a little bit about how it does affect us as a collective, but I did a very dark video. I just recorded a very dark video about Pluto in Libra, only because I was talking about my birth chart, and I have Pluto in Libra. But anyway, I digress. I digressed. So forget about what I just said. I could leave the link, or you could just watch it. and if you want to go in depth, you could watch it. All right, so that's the end of my part 1 video. I'm going to go into part 2. Part 2 is going to be about the reading. So stick around. I invite you to stick around and listen to part 2. The message may resonate with you. I'm just here to read the cards. All right. Thank you for joining me. See you in part 2. Bye.